So, improvers, what's next for you? Maybe you've downloaded the #1 secret to starting your art, and yeah, you've read the free resource, and you perhaps even started your art, and now you're thinking, well, what's next? And today I'm going to focus specifically on 6 tips for improvers. So the way I see improvers is it's people they've done some classes, so they've got some skills in whatever techniques or materials they prefer to use. Maybe they've trained so they know what they like. So they've got the kind of technical ability to make work on their own. And maybe this is you if you've kind of got those skills, but you've never been quite sure what to do with them in the past. And now you want to make that step into working independently and doing your own work in your own time. So yeah, if you're with me live and that sounds like you, give me a yes in the comments. Likewise, if you're watching the replay and it sounds like you, say yes as well, because it would be lovely to hear if this resonates for you. So yeah, so if you've got those technical skills and you want to use them to make independent work and to sort of start getting into doing art more regularly, then in my kind of framework, you fall under that improver heading. And it's all about, it's a kind of, I don't always use the word mindset, but it's a kind of mindset shift around thinking of yourself as somebody who does or make art regularly. It's about doing it, but it's also about the way you think about yourself and changing. So you think of yourself as somebody who has an art practice, who makes art, perhaps who even you can say to yourself, I am an artist. And I would say if you're doing that, then you are an artist. You know, to me, there's only 2 qualifications for being an artist. One is that you want to make art, and 2 is that you do it. You know, lots of people have ideas in their heads and never actually do it. And to be an artist, you have to take that next step of actually putting pen to paper or charcoal to paper or ink, or picking up your brushes, whatever it is, whatever medium you work in, you have to actually do the work. And this is where these tips come in, is to help you think about what work to do and what work is most effective in helping you progress, rapidly. We don't want to sit around forever. But you need to kind of get the right skills and habits in place so that you can set yourself up for success in the long term. So I've sort of distilled this down to 6 tips that I think will be most useful for you. I'm going to run through them now. So here goes. Number 1 is to stop looking for role models. So this might be living artists rather than, the names from the art history books. People who inspire you, whose work you enjoy, who kind of maybe even people that you think, oh, I wish I'd made that. And yeah, adopt them as your role models. Try and find out more about their work, find out about their processes and what inspires their work and how they work and what they've struggled with and what's made a big difference for them, and sort of learn to see the whole of art, because yeah, art it's the whole process. It's not just the finished product. So looking at role models can be a good way of seeing all the work that goes into that process before you get to the finished piece. So that's number 1, is to really immerse yourself in some role models. Number 2 is a bit more practical, and it's about kind of creating your own projects, or perhaps some mini goals about what you want to create. And this could be very short. It's going to be like, for 3 days I'm going to do something, or it could be a technical thing like I want to learn how to do a wider range of brushstrokes with watercolor. Whatever it is, you're kind of setting yourself a specific goal and then working out how to do it. So it might be researching technical skills, it might be getting ideas from other people who work in those materials. It might be saying, I want to, I can't think of a thing, you've found a particular theme that you're interested in, you want to learn how to go into it. So you might do a sort of short project immersing yourself in that particular topic. Doesn't matter what it is, it's whatever interests you in this week, in this moment. Pick something and think of a mini project. So something that you could do in like a week or 2. And think about what the steps might be and how you can learn what you need and get on with it. And you do have to get on with it. You can't just think of the project, you have to actually do the project as well. And if you're in classes still, perhaps online at the moment, but also, at other times, if you've got face-to-face classes, you can start thinking about how to get your teachers to help you with your project. So you're setting the agenda and they're supporting you rather than them telling you what to do and you following instruction. So to use the watercolour example, you might, if you went to a watercolour class, you might say to your teacher, I want to learn how to do more different types of brush strokes. Can you spend 10 minutes going through that with me? And then you're kind of getting that injection of expertise on exactly the topic you want at the right moment from somebody who knows what they're talking about. And that's a great way to learn. And you can also do this kind of process independently if you start intentionally learning from your work. And I'll talk about this in other places. I think it's a really important skill to develop. And it's about kind of reviewing the work at some distance. So I'm sure you've had an experience of this. When you're creating something or writing something or making something, whatever it is, when you're doing it, you're deep in it and you're really emotionally invested, and you can almost, like, there's no distinction between you and it. It's so personal and so you're so involved. But if you put it away, if you put it in a drawer or you put it in, you just stop looking at it for a little while and then you come back to it, you can look at it with kind of fresh eyes and be a bit less emotionally connected to it, a bit more dispassionate. And it's this kind of stage that you want, but it's a kind of supplementary to making the work. So you make the work, you put it away for a little while, and then you come back to it. I mean, if necessary, this can just be after a tea break, but ideally at least overnight or perhaps a few days. And then you can look at it a bit more, as I say, dispassionately. You can look at it and say, well, what's working here and what's not working and what do I enjoy and what's interesting and what's not interesting and what's not working as well. It's a complete sort of review, if you like, of the positives and the negatives, with the aim not of kind of, punishing yourself for anything that you think isn't so great, but how you can learn from that. Does it tell you that you need to work on your technique a little bit more, or does it tell you that actually this is the bit that you really are interested in and excited by, and you can use that learning to guide what your next step is, whether it's learning something more or whether it's practicing something to improve, or whether it's saying, actually, this way of doing it doesn't work for me, I hate it, it's rubbish, you're not interested in the results. But this other way of doing it that I did in this section here, that's much more interesting to me, and I'm going to use this information to guide me and to focus my practice so it gets more and more aligned with who I am as a person, what my strengths are, what my interests are. And it's that sort of awareness of your work and of yourself and bringing the two together that will stand you in really great stead in the long term. So that's a really useful habit to get into, of kind of going back to old work and reviewing it on a regular basis. And the final tip, and I think it's the most important, is to work on your art regularly. I mean, I would recommend daily if you can manage it. And, to be honest, this might in time lead to you reviewing of your schedules about, what's our priority for you, what's important, what's less important. And if art's important, then I really encourage you to prioritize that and to do something as often as possible, definitely more than once a week, and ideally daily. And it may be that you have to be a bit pragmatic and say, well, I've got 15 minutes before breakfast, and you do a 15-minute thing. That's fine. The frequency is the important thing here, not even the quality of the outcome or the duration of the time that you spend each day. It's about getting into that habit. And if it's easier to do it for short times that fit into your schedule without causing too much ruction, then it's better to do that, for a short time. And then you can always build up on that, because that creates that practice that I was talking about at the beginning, so that you can see that you are a person who does do art, work on their art on a daily basis. And you kind of revise your view of yourself. So you say, okay, yeah, I am a person who works on my art on a daily basis. So that's fine to kind of dedicate a little bit of space or a bit more time or a little bit of money if I need to buy more materials, because this is important to me and I work on it daily. So that's 6 tips that can really help you if you're an improver to build on your skills, to start really getting into understanding what you want to do and how you want to do it, and building up the kind of practice that you need to make work independently. As I say, do put a yes in the comments below if being an improver is something that resonates with you, if that's the stage you're at the moment. And I'll wish you luck and good fortune in your next steps. Take care. Bye for now.